Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Paula here. So today we're gonna be doing something slightly different. If you don't know, hi, I'm Paula. I love reading books and I also love Formula 1. The thing is, usually there is a lot of overlap with people who read and people who watch Formula 1, especially like within like girls or like women. There's so many Formula 1 / book girlies. It's incredible. And I feel like we tend to not be able to, like mix those interests. So the books that I've read regarding Formula 1 have mostly been non-fiction, which generally go with either memoirs or just more like explanations of how Formula 1 works. But I feel like there's not so much that you can do with fiction. The only thing like F1 related could be like the Formula 1 romances. But I have a very specific opinion on this, and I don't know if many people are gonna agree with me because I do not mind that there are romances regarding Formula 1. The thing is, when you do romances about people in a sport that is so limited within its like drivers, like literally there's only 20 drivers in the grid per season if there's nothing, no changes or anything, and most of them stay there throughout like a couple years, couple seasons. So I feel like it's very hard to make a Formula 1 romance that doesn't come off as fan fiction of one of the drivers. Like if you do an NFL romance or an NHL romance, there's so many like players out there. It's more of a generalization than anything. But when it comes to Formula 1, it's such a small sport regarding its like players, its drivers, that it's very hard to separate like the person in the book with the person that it's supposed to represent or be or is most similar to in the grid. So that's my issue with Formula 1 romances. And obviously it's like no hate or anyone who reads it, it's just my personal opinion, so that's why I don't read them. As I was saying, I wanted to mix Formula 1 and books in some kind of way in my channel because those are my two main passions and hobbies right now. So what I'm gonna do is, since I have been wanting to diversify my reads, I want to read more from other countries, I decided every race weekend I am gonna read a book that was written or is set in the country that the circuit is in. So for example, this week, which is our first video and our first like little challenge, this week is the Chinese Grand Prix. So because the circus is in China, I'm gonna be reading a Chinese book. And I'm very excited about this because, first of all, the Chinese Grand Prix hasn't happened in 5 years. The last time it was in the calendar, it was in 2019. Okay, so that's first. And then the second one, I chose a book, a Chinese book, that I've heard people talk a lot about because it just came a series in Netflix. So that book is The Three-Body Problem by Liu Cixin. So this weekend is exciting. So I thought I would give some info, some stats on the circuit, and then I will go and explain a little bit what the book is about. So like we have a basic knowledge of both of them. So the Chinese Grand Prix was created in 2004. That was the first Grand Prix that was held in that circuit. It has a total of 56 laps, which is about 5.45 kilometers more or less. The last time a Grand Prix was held there was in 2019, which was right before the pandemic. And the last person to win that Grand Prix was Lewis Hamilton. Now, after 5 years, we finally get the Chinese Grand Prix back, which is going to be very interesting because a good part of the grid has never competed in that specific circuit. So obviously, new circuit for a lot of drivers. And then this weekend, it's also one of the sprint weekends. Yeah, usually on a Formula 1 weekend, you get like free practices, then a qualifying for the race, and then a race on Sunday. But this weekend is going to be slightly different. So the schedule for the weekend is on Friday at 5 a.m. there is a free practice, only one. Then 9:30 we have a sprint qualifying. Then on Saturday at 5 we've got the sprint. After the sprint at 9 we have the race qualifying. And then on Sunday at 9 a.m. we're gonna have the final race. Now this circuit has a lot of curves. I feel like it has a lot of curves, so that's gonna be interesting. We'll see how the weather is because as of right now it looks like it's not gonna be the greatest. So that was the information on the Shanghai International Circuit. Now, The Three-Body Problem by Liu Cixin. Honestly, I know more about the circuit than I know about this book. I just know that it's a sci-fi, which let's see how that goes, because I'm not the biggest fan necessarily, but like not the biggest connoisseur of sci-fi. I feel like I don't read sci-fi, and the only things that I've read are either more in a satirical way or kind of like mixed with fantasy. So we'll see how it goes for my first like complete sci-fi book. I know it's also historical, so it's set on like I think the 60s in China. I could be wrong, but yeah, and it has to do with aliens. That's kind of what I know. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading that book on my Kindle, and I guess I'll see you when the first print starts. Also, I'm already leaving here. I'm expecting this vlog to be very chaotic because what do you mean? The practices and the sprint starts at 5 a.m. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna wake up for that. I'm gonna try, but we'll see if I wake up for that. But I'm expecting a lot of shots from my bed. Yeah, also on Sunday, right after the race, so I have to be at the airport at 11:30, which means I need to leave my place at 11, and the race starts at 9. So right after the race ends, I'm gonna have to just like grab my bags and leave to the airport because I am going away on a little vacation. So it's gonna be a very chaotic vlog, but you know what, I'm just gonna have fun because I genuinely really love Formula 1 and books, and getting to mix them in a video for YouTube, I'm so excited. But yeah, I guess I'll see you when the practice starts. Or the sprint if I don't wake up for the practice. Hello, good morning. Today is Friday, which means that we start the race weekend. So it's currently, let me check, 9:29. The spring qualifying is about to start. I did not wake up to see the practice. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I could not be bothered to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch a practice. So I didn't. I did read the little report that F1 gives. So I read that finally there was a tiny fire at turn 7. That was lovely. Also Stroll leading the pace. Okay. I mean, I hope he keeps it up because like I have it on my Formula 1 fantasy, so we'll see. But yeah, as I said earlier, this weekend might be a little bit weird because of the sprint schedule. So even though it's Friday, we have a qualifying already, but it's just sprint qualifying. I don't think I have much to say. I'm excited to watch it. I have it right now on my computer, but it's on silent, obviously. We're talking. Honestly, I'm hoping Ferrari gets high points. We'll see. Because they didn't do that great in the practice, but you know, it's practice, so you have to take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But yeah, so that's the race update for me. And then book update. I am about to start the Three-Body Problem by Liu Cixin, translated by Ken Liu. Because I'm obviously not gonna read it in Mandarin. Um, I'm not there yet. Thoughts so far. I have not started it, but I did skim through a little bit of it, and I am now a little bit scared by the sheer amount of characters in this book. Um, Apparently, like the author gives us a list of characters, and yeah, it's like 3 of my Kindle pages. So we'll see. The spring is about to start, and honestly, I'm gonna watch it. But you know, there's so much that you can get out of qualifying, so I will be reading and watching at the same time. So a little after the spring qualifying update, no microphone, because I listened to that clip before the qualifying started, and the audio is just so bad, and I thought the microphone would help with the audio. It didn't. I don't know, so I think I'm just gonna do this without a microphone right now. The qualifying sprint finished. We've got Norris, like Lando Norris, on pole, which love that for him. And then we also have Hamilton and Alonso, which I think is very fair because the Chinese Grand Prix hasn't been held since 2019. It makes sense that the drivers with the most experience are up there. And Lando Norris, I guess he's just a good driver, honestly. So the qualifying ended up like that. And then anything interesting about the qualifying is there was another fire. There was another fire in the circuit, which was great. Please, I need someone to explain to me how these fires keep happening, because the weather is absolute crap. So how is the grass just like, you know, burning? And then also a lot of rain. It didn't start necessarily with rain, but because of the rain they had to like have a longer breaks between the qualies, like Q3, Q2, and Q1. Also, I have to say, most of the drivers, if not all of them, I think all of them honestly, just completely like got out of the circuit. Like the road, they were just like going out of it. It was probably because of the rain. But yeah, that was the spring qualifying. And I've also been reading. I've reached 9% of the book. I'm in chapter 3 right now. I feel like it's mostly been, you know, world building. I don't want to say world building because it's more like historical context rather than world building. So there was a lot of historical context and a lot of like info being dumped on us, which is good because like it's necessary information that we need. But yeah, that was the beginning. It's only been like 2 chapters and now we've gotten to know, I think, for the most part, our main character. I believe at least this character has been main character in the past chapter, so we'll see. But yeah, it's been interesting. To be honest, I don't know what's going on, but I know that, you know, we'll eventually get there. But yeah, so no more Formula 1 for the day. Today is finished, but I will continue reading. Hopefully I can get to like, I'm hoping a 50%, but just because I am traveling on Sunday, so I definitely really want to finish this book before I have to leave, or I'll have to continue reading this in the plane. So yeah, let's hope for a 50% today. Good morning. Okay, this is a little bit like ASMR. It's not, it's just very early and I don't want to wake up anyone. So it's 8 a.m. Yeah, I fell asleep. I had an alarm for like 4:55 and I just slept through it. So I missed the sprint. I'm hoping I can watch it now, at least like the repeat, and then finish it just in time to watch the qualifying for the race. 5 a.m. is very early for anything, okay? So yeah. And then before I start that, let me give you an update on my book, The Three-Body Problem. I'm 43% through the book. I think we are getting more to the point of the book, I think. So far it's been a lot of like historical context and then the backstory of one of the characters, and now another character came into play. And there's a lot of like talk about physics and how the universe works. And we started to play the game that Three Bodies is. And I feel like they're finally aliens are coming to play. Like not necessarily they're coming in, but like we're getting to talk about them, because I was wondering where we're gonna be introduced to the whole like, oh, aliens thing. So that's interesting. I feel like it's taking me a bit of a time to read it, but I'm going through and it's very interesting and I keep wanting to pick it up, so that's good. This is all I'm gonna say about the book right now. I'm gonna watch the sprint, finally. Okay, so after sprint update, I didn't read anything because the sprint, it was very interesting. I'm not gonna lie, it was the most fun I've had watching Formula 1 in a while. I don't know what's with this Chinese Grand Prix, but it's been like something else. First, like Norris like drops out like 6th place in literally lap 1, and then Alonso retires in the last like 2 or 3 laps. I was hoping to not see Max in the podium, but that was my hopeful wish. That was 100% gonna happen, but at least we got Hamilton there, so that was nice. But yeah, I made it. I watched the whole sprint and I still have like So I probably have like 20 minutes before the qualifying starts, so I'm gonna try and read a little bit then. And again, qualifying is not always as interesting as the sprints or the races are, so I'll probably read while I'm watching that. So it's later in the day. I feel like I didn't update you guys since after the sprint. Yeah. I watched the qualifying and I obviously read a little bit of my book. Updates on the qualifying. Kinda disappointed on the Ferraris, not gonna lie. But to be fair, I don't think they could disappoint me more since, you know, the sprint. If they had taken each other out, I would have been so pissed, honestly. At this point, I feel like Sainz just gives zero, you know. What are they gonna do? Fire him? Yeah, I think he's trying to be more aggressive. Qualifying. Surprises. Hamilton, P18. He needs to stop changing things in the car, honestly. It's not working. But yeah, I was very, very excited on Q2 when like Sainz was almost gonna go out and he got second. I was like, yes. But then it dropped on Q3, so whatever. It's fine. It is what it is. Little fun fact about the Chinese Grand Prix is that most of the races in this circuit have been won by pole position. So like whoever got pole position has won this race. That's kind of like the usual in this circuit. I believe the driver that was able to win this circuit, this race, from the farthest back was Schumacher from P6, I believe. No one below like 6th position has ever won this race, and usually it's pole position who wins it. And guess who got pole position? If you said Verstappen, you are right. So I'm not expecting the race tomorrow to be very exciting, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully Sainz and Leclerc go a little bit up in the standings, because also this circuit is kind of whack, honestly. It has so many curves. The weather has been completely crap the whole weekend. In the sprint qualifying, not a single driver managed to finish the circuit without going over the circuit. So also the grass caught on fire twice. It's been a whack Grand Prix, but it's been quite exciting and fun for not having had this Grand Prix in 5 years, honestly. I'm saying it here, I am manifesting some points for show. Did I say it in the intro? I don't think I did. Okay, that is completely unfair of me. That is so rude. This race is obviously not important because it hasn't happened in 5 years. This is the first time that the Chinese Grand Prix is a home race for a driver in the grid. This year, well, he's been here for a couple of years, but Zhou Guanyu, this is the first time he will be driving at the Chinese Grand Prix, which means this is the first time this circuit has ever been a home race, which is exciting. And what I was gonna say is I am manifesting him getting points for this race. And then about the book, I think it was like 46, like 50% through in the morning. I'm currently 65% in, and so far I feel like I am kind of clear of who the characters are, like the main characters at least. Sometimes it can get a bit confusing on the characters, but not that much. I feel like the main issue that I'm having with it is it's entertaining. I don't understand it. There's like huge paragraphs of just physics. Just explaining physics in this book. And I love physics, don't get me wrong, but the highest level of physics that I have is like senior year of high school. That's the last time that I actually learned or studied physics, and this is like heavy astrophysics. So I feel a little bit dumb, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm reading this like, absolutely no thoughts in my brain. None. But it is what it is. It's still, if you take away the whole parts of just pure explanation that I don't understand, it is very interesting. Like how everything is linked together, kind of, and then Wang and like him being in the game and trying to figure out what the game is. I think I've gotten to a point where I think I know where this game thing is going to, so whack. This whole weekend, the race and the book, whack. Wild. But yeah, I'm very excited. I really want to know where this is going because as of right now, I have no idea where it's going. But yeah, it's kind of late. I don't think I'm gonna read this anymore. I guess I will see you guys tomorrow for the race. It's finally Sunday, which means it's officially race day in China. It's currently 9 a.m. and the race has already started. They're in like lap 1. But I wanted to catch up a little bit and have a little update on how much I've read so far since I believe last night. I'm 67% in the book right now and pretty much just have the same thoughts as I had yesterday. Nothing has changed. Again, quite confusing with all the physics, but interesting enough that I keep wanting to read it. But yeah, the race is right here, so I am gonna log out and come back after the race to talk a little bit about it and then see if I read anything during the race, which I usually don't do because the race is way more interesting than like qualifying, for example. So, oh, Alonso is second. Slay, okay. So, Bottas and Tsunoda are out. I'm back. Again, I watched the race and then I had to immediately leave my place so I could catch my plane. So obviously I couldn't do a little update after the race because I just had no time. Also, I had not finished the book by the time that the race ended, so I had to finish it on the plane. But yeah, thoughts on the race. Very nice. The weather was good, so that's great. Honestly, we all knew that Max was gonna win. We all know that the majority of the races held in this circuit are won by pole position, and Max was on pole position, so we knew he was gonna win. But I was very happy with Lando Norris as second. Also, we had 3 DNFs, which were, I think I mentioned Tsunoda's and Bottas, but also Ricciardo, which that little Stroll moment, it was kind of funny. It was not funny, but it was kind of funny. So yeah, not much to say about the race, but the whole race weekend was very interesting, so that's good. And now about the book, The 3 Body Problem. I think I'm gonna rate this book a 3.75. Now that feels very specific, but honestly it is. I liked the book and I kept wanting to read it, and the whole thing with aliens and the historical context of China, it was very interesting and I really liked it. I kept like picking it up, but a lot of talk about physics. Maybe I'm just too dumb to be understanding that, but it was just a lot of physics. There was like whole paragraphs where I was just reading and just not understanding specifics. And then right about like the end of it, maybe like the last 10-15%, I was so bored. I was so bored with the whole Trisolarans, aliens, like that whole part of the story was just so boring. So that made it very hard to finish, but I did, and honestly, I think a 3.75 is a very solid rating for this book specifically. And given that I don't really read science fiction, I think that's good. But yeah, I might pick up the second one because also I've heard that the second one is way better than the first one. We'll see. But yeah, this was my very chaotic race weekend. I hope you guys had a good time. Honestly, I did, but also I know that this vlog was very chaotic. If you like this video, like and comment. I hope to do more of these in the future, so if you like it, just make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I think that's all I gotta say. Thank you for staying until the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.